Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Now a week ago on August 3rd we lost the actress Loni Anderson at the age of 79. I haven't seen any other movie YouTubers talk about this, so I just wanted to come on here and just say a few words. Now, in terms of her film career and her theatrical films, then, okay, admittedly, there really isn't that much to talk about. The most significant film that she made was a box office bomb, and that was one that came out in 1983, and it was Stroker Ace alongside Burt Reynolds. So Burt Reynolds, she ended up marrying him and then went through a bit of divorce as well some years later. But this really is a terrible film. It's directed by Hal Needham, who is the former stuntman who became a director and worked with Burt Reynolds on the likes of Hooper, The Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit. And so you might think, well, yeah, this will be a good fun one, which provides lots of stunts and action because Burt Reynolds plays a NASCAR race driver in this one. But there isn't any stunt work. There's lots of stock footage of NASCAR races. And it's a really lame comedy because the film centres around Burt Reynolds' character being this NASCAR driver who has signed a contract without reading it, and that contract is owned by a fried chicken magnate that is played by Ned Beatty. And so as part of this contract, he then ends up having to just advertise chicken all the time. So that includes having to dress up in chicken costumes. So yeah, that's where all the humour is meant to be in this film, but it really isn't very funny at all. And Loni Anderson's role in this is not a very good one. So she's introduced in this film in the pit crew, where they just blow air up her skirt in a kind of Marilyn Monroe kind of tribute. And then the other sort of significant scene that she has in this is where she has a date with Burt Reynolds. She falls asleep on her bed, and then Burt Reynolds has a long-running gag, if you like, in which he then tries to undress her and see how far that he'll go. It's really pretty poor. So yeah, this is a terrible film, not at all good. So like I say, the co-star here is Ned Beatty, also stars Parker Stevenson, remember him from The Hardy Boys, and Jim Nabors as well. So yeah, Stroker Ace. But it's really not her theatrical films that I want to focus on. There are two made-for-television movies that I just want to talk about. Now, in terms of television, then definitely Loni Anderson is famous for having been on the TV series WKRP in Cincinnati, which came out in the early 80s, co-starring Howard Hessman. And she was nominated for Prime Time Emmy Awards and also Golden Globe Awards for that series. It's not one that I watched. I think I was vaguely aware of it as a kid, but I don't know if I actually watched any episodes of it. But yeah, that really is her most significant thing that she's done in her career. But in terms of made-for-TV movies, I do think it's interesting just to focus on a couple of movies for a moment. One came in 1980, and it was this one, the Jane Mansfield story, in which she co-stars alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger before he hit the big time with Conan the Barbarian and the Terminator. So yeah, this is actually a pretty interesting movie. So Loni Anderson for a moment, let's just concentrate on her. I mean, she was a woman who came from Minnesota. She was a beauty queen, and when it came to starring in TV and films, she realized that she needed to dye her hair blonde. And so what she's done here with the Jane Mansfield story is pretty much reenact someone who had a similar career start. So Jane Mansfield, very much an intelligent woman who needed to go bleach blonde in order to hit the big time, and who needed to put on an effective dumb blonde voice as well to become famous. And she then did so in movies such as Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter and The Girl Can't Help It. And this film looks at that period of time. So we have Arnold Schwarzenegger here playing her husband, Mickey Hargitay, and his role here is to actually recount the story of what happened to Jane Mansfield, who died in a tragic car accident, aged only 34. So It might seem like pretty terrible casting to have Arnold Schwarzenegger in this, but actually it's quite appropriate, really, because Mickey Hargitay was a Hungarian muscle man who actually won Mr. Universe in 1955. So, yeah, pretty terrible as an actor. He did have some film roles, including being in Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter? He was in The Loves of Hercules, Delirium, Lady Frankenstein, and a few others. But, yeah, really a terrible actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger, it has to be said, is not very good as an actor in this. He's called upon to do a lot of dramatic role in this. There's a lot of relationship drama and shouting that he has to do. And yeah, not incredibly convincing in it. Loni Anderson as well might appear quite strange performance if you're not familiar with Jane Mansfield, because she does do a lot of squeaks and high-pitched sighs. But you really need to watch Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter to be able to understand why she does that. So, yeah, this film is not, I wouldn't say a great movie by any means, but it is an interesting one to actually see the story of Jane Mansfield, and also to see a little bit of what Mickey Hargitay was like as well. So here is the real Jane Mansfield, a beautiful blonde bombshell. And here's her starring alongside Tony Randall in the film Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter? So like I say, it really is worthwhile watching this film just to get an appreciation for the kind of squeaky voice that Jane Mansfield was using at this time. She was very much in the shadow of Marilyn Monroe, trying to get the same kind of roles that Marilyn was getting, but unsuccessful in that. And like I say, she had this tragic death at the age of only 34 in a car accident. And then the other film that I just want to touch on is one that came 10 years after the Jane Mansfield story, and it was this one, White Hot, The Mysterious Murder of Thelma Todd. And again, Loni Anderson here is playing another real-life actress, another bleach blonde, and Thelma Todd also died tragically. She actually died of still unexplained circumstances at the age of only 29, having appeared in 150 movies already at that age. So Thelma Todd was an actress who had a lot of work in the 1920s and 30s. She was signed up with Hal Roach, and so did a number of comedies for him, and also starred in Marx Brothers movies such as Monkey Business and Horse Feathers. In her real life, during her success, she took ownership of a nightclub and restaurant with a partner, sometime relationship man, Roland West, and that became a hub for lots of famous people to come there. She got into a relationship with a guy, Pat DeSico, who had leanings and relationships with gangster members. And the film has her meeting the gangster Lucky Luciano, who is played in this by Robert Davi, fresh from his success in playing Special Agent Johnson in Die Hard, and also being the villain in the James Bond movie License to Kill. Yeah, another interesting movie because, again, we have this similar background. Thelma Todd, again, a beauty pageant, again, having to dye her hair blonde in order to get success, and then having this sort of mysterious death that happened at a very young age. So yeah, I do think it's interesting that Loni Anderson took on both of these bleach blonde actress roles. So yeah, these were women who had intelligence, they had brains, they had to put on this public persona in order to be able to get success. But yeah, both of them met tragic ends. Thankfully, Loni Anderson was able to live a much longer life. So yeah, not without some tabloid interference because of her various marriages and divorces, but yeah, she definitely was a big name when it came to TV, and like I say, particularly with the TV show WKRP in Cincinnati. Okay, so those are just a few words on the actress Loni Anderson. I appreciate a lot of film buffs, whatever, are not going to be perhaps mentioning her because she hasn't been in any really significant theatrical features. But nonetheless, I do think those two TV movies are interesting. And like I say, if you're an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, then you might want to actually revisit the Jane Mansfield story just to see how things started for him. And I really do think that it's hugely significant that he got the casting in the role of the Terminator, which really changed his career, because otherwise he could have gone down a route like Mickey Hargitay, who wasn't really able to establish himself as an actor at all. Okay, thanks very much for watching. I hope you'll join me again. All the best to you. Bye-bye.